Hi, Hugh.
Hi, Daniel.
We're in the big room today.
Oh, no.
You're all the way down the other end. Pass the salt.
Get away. How are you?
Yeah, good. A bit frantic.
Yeah, busy.
It's all a bit busy, yeah.
That tan's faded a bit since last time.
It's peeling now.
Yeah, I bet that's going down well at home.
Yeah.
Oh,
Luckily, it was sunny on the weekend, so it's...
Yeah.
And we've got a Cornish holiday coming up, and it's going to rain, so that's really,
Nice.
It's really killing the mood about my tan, isn't it?
You could do, I remember doing one, a 10-pin bowling, if you can find, that's always a good one with the kids.
Yeah. Kelly's basically said today, she's like, I'm basically going to start looking around for all the things we can do indoors, so we're going to spend a week in the cinema.
Can you take your kids to the pub? How old are they? No.
Oh, yeah, we take them to the pub all the time. I'm joking. Clark's team won the cup final on the weekend, and we...
Brilliant.
Like, great, let's celebrate. Let's go to the pub, obviously.
Mate,
Like, kids running around in the garden.
Start as you mean to go on.
Absolutely.
So we've got Phil and Graham on today,
Yes.
who were due a while back, but they couldn't make it all week.
But Burnham.
Burnham blew it for them. So, Phil and Graham are definitely going to be our longest working together team ever. I think they're 28 years.
Yeah. And
Imagine that, 28 years.
I mean, it's just incredible.
What are we on? 5? We've been doing this 5.
5 years, yeah. Well, we should have a celebration, shouldn't we?
As long as you don't start singing nasty songs about me.
It's all about you.
Right, but they've got Phil and Graham, not only a brilliant team and brilliant people, but they have a great portfolio. You know, sometimes people come and we go, oh, we'll talk about 3 or 4 campaigns you've done, and you mix it up a bit. They have got like 7 just fucking belts.
We're going to have to get through this because
Yeah.
there is so much great work we're going to look through. And they're one of those teams as well where you go, like, every single slide of our pre-prepared deck is like, I know that one, I know that one, I know that one,
Yeah.
I know that one. It's like, wow.
Yeah, we're going to have to...
It's belter after belter.
Yeah, we can't be any...
One of those, like a music band that just keeps smashing out number ones.
Yeah, they're still doing it.
Yeah.
Right, shall I go and get them?
Yes.
Phil Cockrell and Graham Storey, welcome to Behind the Billboard.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you very much
Thanks
for
for
having
coming
us.
on.
Apologies
Nice
it's
to be
taken
here.
so long, chaps.
Yeah.
You can blame Bannum for that one.
Yeah, exactly.
He literally flew in and said, I'll take that slot.
That's actually a pretty good impression. Do you know Paul Bannum?
No.
He was at JW2 with me. He's a very lovely man. He was in Dubai. That's where he works. And he came through and we went, because we're a global podcast, aren't we? We're not just the UK. So we thought we'd get him. But that bumped you. And then you probably did lots of interesting freelance in between, I imagine. So we're going to do a cut of Phil and Graham facts.
Facts?
This is where you have to look at us and feel like humbled.
This is where he goes into his Michael Aspel impression. He's got the red book out.
Well, it's Adam Buxton, actually.
This is your career.
Phil and Graham have worked at some of the best agencies in the world. Abbott Mead Vickers, Lowe's, JWT, or JW, what was it you just said? No, we're not going to go there yet. JWT, Crispin Porter, Bucci, Fallon, Simons Palmer, etc., etc., and all these places you've created iconic, award-winning work, and a whole lot of it out of home, which is really lucky. That's why you're on the podcast today.
Or posters, as we used to say. Out of home still to jars with me.
Yeah. Okay. Right.
Posters.
All right.
Yeah.
Behind the poster, a special edition.
We'll call it billboards.
So
We'll meet in the middle.
That works.
Phil and Graham have been now. I thought it was a staggering 28 years together. Should we just call it 28? Phil said something a bit earlier. I wasn't sure if that was...
Yeah, it's a bit more than that.
Okay, well, around 30, we'll say something like that.
30-ish.
You celebrate the anniversary every year. That's what we want to know.
We stopped doing that. We used to have parties like for our 7-year itch party we had, and then we had a 25th one.
Seriously. Oh, that's so lovely.
But yeah, we haven't since then.
It's like a silver
I don't
wedding.
want to draw attention to the fact. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
I think it's a triumph.
Moving on. Yeah.
It's
Should we focus on that a bit more?
It's a bit like the batting. It's like a...
No, it's good. I mean, I was with Adam for 20 years, and then that was that, and there hasn't been
you got
much
divorced.
contact since. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I think it should be celebrated.
So a couple more things. Fun Phil fact: I bought my house off Phil.
That's correct.
Did you find all the stuff he buried in the garden?
Well, Rach did say as we left, reminding me about the damp patch in the room at the back.
Oh, God. Oh, God, what was it? Should we reveal on air what it was?
No, it's not what you're thinking.
just penetrating damp. That's all. Nicely hidden with a couple of coats of Dulux.
Listen, profession. And fun Graham fact: there's a mural of Graham in Stoke Newington. There isn't, I know, but there is in my head.
Just undid your own fact. Well done.
Shall we just define fact? I don't know.
Well, it's fake news. No, so Graham, on your feed, I think, or I saw somewhere this fucking amazing mural on the side of this building, which I go past quite often, and I thought, oh, wow. He's not just a famous ad guy. He does his own prints, and now he's got his own mural. And I was like, fucking great.
Spends a lot of time on Photoshop.
Yeah. So I thought that's going to be one of the main things when they come on. And he went, no, mate, just been comped together. I was like, kill my fucking dreams. Anyway, how are you both?
All good.
Very
well, thank you, sir.
What's the latest in Phil and Graham? Are you in, out somewhere? Are you having a bit of?
We're sort of in at the moment. We've taken a slight swerve.
Right.
We've gone old dogs, new tricks.
Yeah, we're learning a bit about the farmer, the world of farmer.
Oh God, I thought you meant you're going to go farming. No,
no.
Sheep.
No,
pigs.
that's next. That's in another 10 years.
No, farmer's massive though. I mean, I did a session with Chappie in VML on, what was it? The anti-allergy pills and something to do with Piriton and then and dry vagina cream, stuff like that.
Yeah, no, we're doing.
We find some shocking things out.
A lot of cancer stuff. Which is quite dark. Quite It takes a while to get your head around it, and it's drugs that are trying to give people a bit more time. So it feels worthwhile. It feels useful.
And is that at a particular agency, or is that a bit more just what you're specialising in now? Or
we're working with FCB Health.
Okay, right.
Which is part of the big IPG network.
But it's a massive thing, isn't it? Like, I remember when, Cannes once again went, right, let's just do a whole category about pharma. They made loads of money out of it. But it's a massive thing. It's not going to go away, because it's probably going to get bigger and bigger.
We only see a small amount of it here, though, because of the rules and regulations around.
I think so. Yeah, it's much.
US.
I mean, we tend to be working more with New York, because America is where it's at for the farmer. I think it's a lot
big industry. Yeah,
but is it complicated? Because I imagine you're deep. Well,
it is.
Your job is still to simplify.
Very
shit,
complicated to get your. It's a different mindset completely. You have to switch into, because with every brief you have what they call a 101 background about the disease, or about how the drug might work. It's not,
okay.
So it's not like a pair of trainers or something. It's kind of, you need to know.
It's not let's go buy the chocolate bar and taste it.
We're almost.
It tastes good.
Now.
Great. Okay. You have to become. Yeah, he's like virtually a doctor to understand.
That is quite interesting, because you are, without denigrating our industry, you start to think, wow. I remember working on the NHS, and I worked on a charity about paedophilia, and it suddenly becomes, fucking hell. Obviously, you need to make a difference on every brief, but when you see those, you kind of go, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, you did that lovely NHS.
Yeah. And it suddenly, it just
does make you think once you do stuff. You think, this is a bit more useful.
Yeah. And I'm not going to slag off yogurt, because I always go for yogurt.
And we had Muller Corner and in our top 10.
Yeah. No, but Muller Corner's not going to save people's lives.
No, it's not.
That's it. Yeah, it is a different mindset, but it's interesting.
Yeah, no, good. Oh, brilliant. Well, look, we're going to talk about your billboards today. I think we've got 7. Hold on, shit, I'm already behind. But oh no, right, God, I'm out of sync, aren't I?
No, you're going straight to, because we've got a load of work to get through. You've gone straight to the work.
Dan,
we always start with the billboard at the end of my street, and that's just a way for us to kind of talk about what's going on in our world. Wow,
because there's a couple.
I've just had a sneak peek of the first one.
Whose is that? That's at the end of my street. I'm fortunate enough to live about 200 yards from the North Circular, and that literally is down the end of my street on the North Circular.
Can you describe it to us, Phil?
Well, so there's a
shocker.
It's an absolute.
Anyway, moving on.
In one word, yeah.
On a road, it's actually a car crash of a poster. It is. I don't know. Haven't done a word count, but it must be about 100 words on there.
I haven't done a typography.
Self-assessment tax returns. There's prices. There's about 3 or 4 different logos. There's Trustpilot. There's body copy. It's an absolute mess.
It is actually staggering.
The most stock shot ever.
Of a person.
I guess they're thinking that the North Circular is static pretty much most of the time, certainly down that section of where I live. So
makes it
they
even
think
worse.
people have got half an hour to read this.
I like
so
that they've put the URL on there, and just to work out if people have actually seen this poster, they've put a /A406, which is the North Circular. Let's see if people are coming here from the North Circular.
There's also another logo that says "Take a photo." Like you're going to take a photo of this just to keep that for later.
You know what? I'm looking at it and I'm thinking it would have been better just to put a brief on the wall. You know, I'm actually staggered. That has got to be quite close to the. Graham Fink came in once with I think it was a marlin fish, and then there was 4 typefaces off it, and then a couple under, and then we must have looked at it for 10 minutes, couldn't work out what it was. I think it was ultimately an accountancy firm. Or an IT one, I'm not sure. There you go.
That's a belter.
Okay, we're going to move
And
down.
a shocker.
So this
the worst.
Aforementioned, Graham. This is the mural at the end of your street, which is. We'll include this in the socials, but sadly, I thought that was real. It's not. So we're going to go to your first billboard. Now, there's a few here, aren't there?
We did put a few in, yes. Well, the first one is the first billboard, and the interesting thing about that was that it was a series. So
pre-digital.
It was pre the digital day. So you could.
What was it for? Tell us.
So it was for Lloyds Bank and their savings account. So we had this thought about how it multiplies. It multiplies fast. So what would be a quick visual for that, which is a couple of rabbits, and then obviously the rabbits then multiply and multiply, so that you end up with a billboard literally full of rabbits. So it was a great bit of media buying because we were able to buy a set of sites.
There was one site that was reposted every 2 weeks.
Every 2 weeks.
Oh wow!
The next, so the first one was just the 2 rabbits. The next time it was reposted 2 weeks later. There was half a dozen rabbits, and then 2 weeks later.
Where were you at the time?
So this is Low Howard Spink.
Yeah. It's a really nice idea.
Yeah,
it's a lovely. I mean, you could watch.
I guess we were kind of sort of late starters with that. Really, we had a couple of false starts at other agencies. We'd come from D&B, where we'd struggled to get anything out at all.
Is that where you started?
Cogent
actually.
Cogent for a few years. Cogent Elliott, as was
in Birmingham.
No, but it was in the London office.
Sorry, a vague thing about Birmingham. And that was how you first met there, or did you meet at college?
We worked together at college. We did a joint degree show at college.
Oh my God, this is brilliant. This is going to have to be 2 hours, this. So what college was this? Sorry?
Kingston.
Ah, down...
university as it is now, but Kingston Polytechnic as it was.
Polys were cool. What happened to them?
The old red brick polys.
Yeah, all
the creative courses were at Polly's.
All
right?
the cool fuckers.
That's where they'd put us.
Yeah. But now it's called, what are they called? Well, they're all called universities.
They're all universities now, yeah.
So you have literally been together since college. Sorry, I thought you might have met along the way a bit.
This is a high school sweetheart story.
Fucking hell.
84.
And did you, did you see each other across a crowded room and, one waggled your pen?
You say 84?
That was the year we graduated, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So work that out.
This is a big year.
It is.
This is an anniversary year. This is what we should be doing.
So, I mean,
that was obviously you doing a trumpet noise, I think.
No, we didn't actually get on well the first year there because Graham was going out with a girl there who I just thought was... No. What is he doing? What is that? What's going on there? And
judgy.
Basically
judgy.
Yeah, I'd say that's a little bit judgy. So it's not even the work.
Graham used to do all the work. So when we were all putting work up on the wall, this is a graphic design course. There'd be his girlfriend's work and there'd be Graham's work, and it's like, hang on a minute, that's the same, right?
Yeah, so copying.
That's a bit dodge. But then second year we got together. Second year was when they allowed us to do some advertising, and that's when we both the light bulb sort of clicked. So I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. I wasn't very good at Graham's great at drawing. I wasn't great at drawing.
It was that good thing of like you suddenly doing it and advertising. You can have an idea, and then get the best person possible.
That was it.
To execute it for you. So it wasn't down to your,
that's a relief,
skills.
isn't it?
You can just hand it off to somebody else who's actually good at what they do.
Yeah.
And then off you go.
And how did you? So was D&B, you say that was your first?
No longer
one?
exists, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then
Darcy, Macius, Benton and
Bolt.
Yes. 2 points game.
So we did a sort of what it was like a technically a little backward step to work on Tesco. So be a retail team, which at the time was like, well, that was kind of looked upon as a bit.
I'm sure.
But we thought, no, but it's at Low Howard Spink, and look who you've got there. Alan Waldy, Adrian Holmes, Derek Apps,
Frank Lowe.
Squibb, Frank Lowe. I mean, all these people to learn off. We think it's a no-brainer.
Oh, was that in Bowater House?
It was, yeah.
So having another Bowater House chat with someone else the other day, it just pops up all the time in conversation because it's knocked down now, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's nothing there. It's just I think there's just a sort of little tunnel.
Posh flats.
Yeah. So, wow, brilliant. So, hold on. Actually, though, we still have to, because there's another entry here for your first billboard, which is so this would have been at Lowe's as well.
So so this was all at Lowe's. This is all pretty much it was all in the same year. The sort of first year we were there, and we couldn't believe it because they were allowing us to do not just the retail work. You had a shot at everything there. So you had a shot at Heineken, Lloyd's, whatever, and
so this is Heineken, still the brilliant campaign, refreshes the parts of the beers can't reach. So do you want to describe this for us?
Yeah, so
that's back when the Gladiators were around for the first time.
First time round.
Yeah, first time round. Now they've gone history repeating itself.
Yeah. We thought it was funny, the sort of the pugil stick, I think they're called, aren't they? Where they're basically the giant cotton bud that they bash each other with. So we came up with the idea that he's got something in his ear and he's got this giant cotton bud. So he drinks the Heineken and it shrinks down into a proper Q-tip cotton bud, and he can clear his ear.
And this was a series as well, right? There's another.
We managed to get a couple of it, actually. That was when Coppola's Dracula was out,
right?
And we'd actually, I think right into the last minute, Sadie Frost was going to do it, who was actually in the film, and she dropped out, so we had to cast somebody for it. And I think Malcolm Venville shot that for her.
And what happens? Just describe it, Graham.
Well, it's the Bride of Dracula.
Yeah, with some puncture marks in it.
So she's got the bite marks in her neck. She has a pint of Heineken, and the beer pours out the side of her neck. Which, I'm not sure
why.
How that's refreshing, but it's funny. So
both of them topical, right? There's something happening in popular culture right there, and
I think that's it. Popular culture is always good.
Well, they're little films in themselves, aren't they? I mean, that is
a storyboard.
The triptych ideas, which is great. There were so many great ones done, and obviously Mark Denton and did the Shaky Stevens one, which is probably my favourite one.
Yeah,
there were loads. There were loads down at the time.
But these would be great. Did you out of home? A little 10-second spots. Yeah. I didn't know Malcolm had shot that. We've got Malcolm on the show. Malcolm is a lovely man. Can I say that's a pretty good start? We've had some people. Well, some people say, "Oh, I can't find my first billboard," or
they give us their second or third one just and say it was their first.
I'm not going to.
I think the very first one isn't on there. I have to put out a hand up. It's for Vauxhall Cars, and it was for ABS braking. And it was a great big 96 sheet, and it had a great big long black streak, and it said, "This is the end of the skid mark."
Oh,
nice.
Have you got it? Haven't got a proof of it anywhere. Well, so that was our very first
challenge accepted.
Do you know what people do? They draw them, don't they? Neil Dawson had to draw his first one. So if you wanted to draw it, you don't have to do it now, Graham. Although Graham has got a pen.
He's got a pen and paper,
and he can draw.
Always has got a pen and paper.
It'd be nice. I think for people starting out in the industry, it's always really good. Well, I find it fascinating what your first bit was.
I can't draw time marks, but yeah.
Yeah, okay. What do we do next, Dan? It's the work, isn't it?
The work.
Yeah, right. We've just got a little client here called Nike.
Who? What do they make?
And they haven't done much good work. So thanks, Phil. You just teed it up nicely. I talk about Mark. So this is your time at Simons Palmer. Simons Palmer, one of the greatest agencies the country's ever seen. It's a real shame. I always think that we call it Simons Palmer. I remember talking to Chris you got to have your name at the front. Because no one says Simons Palmer, Denton Johnson.
No.
So poor old Mark. Simons Palmer.
Running grim there.
So just on a bit of a timeline, how did you end up at Simons Palmer? I know I'm going to get my order wrong, but I'm interested to know you got here.
Well, you've
been around the block a bit.
We were at Low Howard Spink,
right?
And then Andy Mackay had gone from there to Simons Palmer.
So it must have been
he was already there. It was Paul Hodgkinson who Andy drafted in.
Yeah.
Was it a better startup at that point?
Well,
Still very small.
Chris and Mark had just left, so Andy had been put in charge, and he got Hodgie over to help him out. And so then Hodgie pulled us over from Low Waterhouse.
Were you nervous though? Because Lowe's would have been massive and super safe and monstrously exciting, lots of accounts, and Simon's Palm would have been quite small.
Well, I think monstrous and super safe aren't always a good thing.
No.
So
Yeah. But you'd obviously done good work on.
But Simon's Palm was just kind of like, just seemed they were a machine for getting good stuff out.
Yeah.
You know,
I think there were fewer teams, so more opportunities, whereas, as I say, Lowhouse Spink, I mean, the creative department was awesome. I mean, there was so many good people. It was very hard to get a TV brief, for example.
Yeah.
Plus, we were still, half of our time was on supermarket, was on Tesco.
Yeah.
Product price advertising. The other stuff was a bonus we did in our extra time to get some good work out. But
so, how long into your excuse me? So we're looking at this. It's a rugby poster with the letters FF for fast forward. It's absolutely brilliant. How soon into your time there did you get this poster away?
I can't remember.
A year or so, I would say. I think because I think you've got some other posters from the same
that's Lawrence Delalio tearing down the pitch.
And what? Because I imagine, hand up, I'm not a rugby fan and I don't really follow it. And I imagine was this the unsexy brief? Or
I don't know, rugby was always quite sexy because in the past they'd done some belting ones.
Oh,
yeah, it's not the winning, it's the taking apart.
So that was
great poster. It was just Nike attitude was great. It was a great thing to work on, but it was always everyone's working on it. It was the brief went to every team, and there were about 5-6 teams. I suppose.
So it was always
a push
across all the sports as well. So you get
pretty much
all the briefs everywhere.
Yeah. So I mean, the marathon. There was always a marathon poster every year. You'll see we had managed to get one of those. But on the rugby, there was any sport. It was all equally exciting to.
And did you do? Were there any others in the mixer from you? Or did this one just immediately go straight to the top? This fast forward one.
I can't remember now.
That
was our favourite.
I think it did once it was seen. Graham had sort of scribbled it up, and obviously that's not the easiest thing to sort of scribble up as an idea, because obviously then it was all, it was all layout pads and it was all scribbled. It's scamps. So there was no mock-ups.
Because how did you get the the effect? So for listeners who can't see it, obviously it's a screen grab, old school video. Fast forward, it's been paused. I mean, it's mega. It just looks
like mad.
How did you?
Well, that was a photo by the late great Tim O'Sullivan,
right?
Who was, to be honest, our go-to guy on Nike. He was just fantastic with people,
right?
And then,
wait a minute. You shot this?
We shot this.
So it's Lawrence
running.
He was
tearing around the field for us. Then we took it to a guy called John Willick, who used to work at a place called Colour Space. And he did the video effect for us. He kind of fritzed it up for us, and that's what came out. So, yeah.
Wow, brilliant. Can I say, I didn't know that. I thought the whole thing, you just...
grabbed it. No, that was we got a shoot out of it. Got to meet Mr. Delalio, which is an interesting character.
That's great. Fucking hell, right. Okay, moving on to the marathon.
Oh, this is your marathon one, yeah.
Oh, yeah, this was amazing. Again,
the meeting Peter was brilliant, but we decided that we wanted to do something. I mean, this is featuring someone with a disability wasn't. I mean, this is like 10-15 years ahead of Superhumans.
And were you given? Sorry, just to go to the brief. Were you told, "Hey, here's a fact. This guy's run the marathon." Or did you find? How did it come to be? What's his name? Sorry again.
Peter Hull.
Listen, Peter Hull is. How do we describe?
Well,
Peter?
he's an Olympic gold medalist. To start with that, he was born without
arms and legs.
Arms or legs.
Quadriplegic.
So his arms go down to his elbow. His legs pretty much stop just after his hips. So that's it. That's him. But he's an Olympic swimmer, and also a marathon guy. He's doing a wheelchair with like sort of cups over his arms and sort of sticks, and they were tearing off.
So on the brief, were you given Peter as an example of people?
Actually, I think that came along later. Someone suggested it after a while. We've been working. A thing came around. with other people on it, and we jumped on that. And to be honest, that's a 6-sheet version there. The better version is the 96 sheet, which
it's a great line. I read the line out. Peter is not like ordinary people. He's done the marathon. I mean, I remember seeing this and it was just like mind blowing how good it was, because it's just your line isn't actually a clever wordplay. I think it's just a fact.
Yeah,
but it's so brilliant work. As a story, it's
and it was, again, that's another Tim O'Sullivan shot. We got along there on the day, and you never know how you're going to work with these things. And Tim was like, right, let's get you off your chair and let's stick you on this plinth. Get rid of the chair because that's the first thing that people look at. So let's just see you as a bloke. And we did this portrait like that and put it all together. And here's the thing. Back in the day when you have to sign off a proof before it goes out, supposedly to get printed,
right? We
kept getting proofs back and they cut the proof off just under his leg. So it looked like a portrait of a bloke standing up that we cropped off.
Oh, no.
It's like, hang on, that's kind of crucial.
Sort of spoiling
we kept saying, no, we're not signing this proof off. It kept coming back. And then suddenly the penny dropped. They've already printed this. They printed the whole run before they signed the proof.
Oh, really?
Yeah, scrap that, start again, reprint it. And just those, couple of extra inches on the bottom of the poster made all the difference. That was the whole point of the poster.
Yeah, but that's so weird because that's like fundamental.
It was, it was extraordinary.
It's just like, then they just like...
I mean, it's easier there.
It's easier than
on the portrait,
there.
But on the 96, it's imperative that you see that gap.
Yes, exactly. It's all about that.
Did you just on the line? Did you do other lines? Or did you minute you get to this, you go, oh, that's it? Because you could have been tempted to write other lines.
No, I kind of played with this various versions of this. I wasn't sure about Peter is, or but generally the idea was about this idea that people might look at him differently. He's not like an ordinary person. It's like, no, you're right, he's not ordinary.
Yeah. Because you could have done
he's a lot better than that.
Because you could have gone, Peter's run the marathon, why don't you? Or Peter just did, but that line is so well pitched.
Well, it's a bit like the wheelchair thing again, isn't it? It's kind of like stop them looking at that to make them reassess people.
Yeah, and I think again, he did a great shot, and it's shot from below. It's got that heroic kind of pose,
same way we'd shoot
stance. So he looks like the star he is. He was an amazing guy. I actually met him before Graham did the shoot. I went down to his house, and he lived on his own. Came to the door. On his stumps like that.
He offered to run a marathon for us actually as well, didn't he? He hadn't done one for a while, and he said, "I'll do one if you like," just because the poster's coming out. I was like, "No, you don't have to do it. Honestly, you've already done it."
I went down the pub with him with Tim, and he was known down at the pub and regular down there, and he had a few pints with him. He just got on with life. He was just an extraordinary person, really.
It's quite interesting because I was just watching. Last night I was watching something Adam and Eve had done for the Paralympics. Really nice spot, but not far off this at all. Like you said, it's brilliant now because it's sort of commonplace. But when you did this, I imagine
no one had disabled athletes on billboards.
No, it was a first. I'm pretty sure of that.
Because Nike had done so much like attitude and bish bosh bang, and then suddenly this comes and go, oh my god, yeah. Apple are very good on it now, aren't they? They had that beautiful film recently. Hey, right, we should move on. So Eric Cantona.
Who's he?
My God, how we need him. Sorry, not going to do that rabbit hole, Graham. Don't know. It's not going to be a load of football chat too much. But so imagine after the amazing Cantona poster, the 66 was great. Yeah.
It's a tricky one to follow that
This was the Poison Chalice.
Yeah, but I think
is this after he kicked someone at
just
Palace,
after?
then?
Yeah, so this was his return. This is his comeback after.
It's an early. Can I just recount? It's an early. So the man came down. I can't remember his name. The thug,
Matthew
something.
Simmons,
and he said he claimed in court. It's an early bath for you, Cantona.
No, he didn't say that.
No, that in court. That's what he said. He said.
That's what he claimed.
But he was going, you effing, and Eric just thought, I'm going to take that.
Just launched himself into the crowd.
Still
I think it's definitely one of football's greatest hits. That's
extraordinary.
proper stud marks on the chest. Wasn't
Yeah.
there? But when we shot that again, it was Tim O'Sullivan. We had to sneak Cantona in. He'd been hiding in France since he'd kicked the Palace support.
Yeah, well, I had to go. I went down
Yeah,
to
you
meet
had to
him
go
to
meet
interview
him,
him down in Toulouse.
Is this also? That's when he gave his famous line, wasn't it? And the seagulls follow the
Seagulls following the trawler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, hold on. I'm now getting really irritated. You went and met Cantona.
I did. This is to say this wouldn't happen now, would it? So, flown down to Toulouse to record an interview with him, just to sort of, it was just to try and help us create.
Is that right? So you could,
Yeah. Simon Spine were like, go meet him, go and have a chat. He's agreed to do the poster.
Here's a stab vest.
Yeah. He was utterly charming. He's imposing. I mean, he's
got some.
He's a big guy. He's as big as me, and he's just got a presence. I mean, he's got a proper presence about him, and he's also a real gentleman.
Did he say anything about? Were you allowed to ask anything?
Yeah.
And did he have any take on that moment, or not really?
I didn't go too
probably
deep.
Don't want to go
on
too
it.
far.
No, I didn't want to. So I had to get back from Toulouse. I didn't want.
All right, mate.
Leave it. It's not worth it.
But I think, to your point, Graham, really, I mean, Poison Chalice in a certain sense, but I thought you did a really good job, because it's like whatever you do is going to be fucking hard. But then
66 was just obviously still one of our favourite posters, and that was done at Simon's one before.
Can you remember who?
Then you go, we've got to do the follow-up.
Yeah. Do you remember who wrote the 66?
Andy and Hodgie.
Andy and
Giles. Is it Giles?
Giles, that's right.
Andy and Giles.
Andy
Mackay. And
so if anyone can get hold of these, because we've been trying to get them on for ages to talk about it. So if,
Andy's in
Toronto. He was just over a few weeks ago.
Okay,
but,
we're great to talk to him about post.
I'll jog him.
But the line on this, the other thing I thought was in now what they do is they go, no, just get someone who sort of looks like him, turning away from camera. You don't need to get Eric Cantona. So was that perverse as well, that you actually turned him around?
Yeah, we just wanted him. Well, it's funny. We got down there again, and this is Tim. And that's the entrance to Old Trafford that was used in the World Cup way back.
The old entrance, yeah.
The old entrance, which is somewhere down the middle of the pitch. And because they were still doing tours around Old Trafford of supporters, we had to hide him. We had to sort of get him there undercover. Otherwise, everyone just goes mental. And then we get there, and the gate, when you sort of looked at it like that, looks like a prison gate. It's got bars on it. Oh God, come on! So hence the big light up front.
And the light works perfectly.
Get the big light up front. Yeah. Get those shadows kicking off into the background, and have him ready to go out and start again.
He's been punished for his mistakes. Now it's someone else's turn. I mean, I remember that. God, it was such a mad time. But it's a lovely poster. God, you've met him. I'm really gutted about that. I haven't met him. Right, a bit more Nike. One more.
Yeah.
Visitors.
We'd be able to get away with this one nowadays, but
no. This one says visitors going to Dublin. 1, get hammered. 2, go to the pub. And the sort of sub copy reads: the Irish team wear Nike. Punch me down. No. Someone's going to get slaughtered this weekend. So, like, you got your second line, just in case you never got it, guys.
You didn't get the drinking reference, and the fact that it's laid out like a pint of Guinness is, should be all you need to know. But we would be able to do that now.
Never saw that.
Great, and that was John Tisdall, typo and designer extraordinaire. But they had me hand letter all that out just to get it a bit shonky. So that's all done by hand.
Really?
Ticked in and then.
Old skills.
Did you say shonky?
A little bit shonky, yeah.
I reckon that's I haven't heard that. Can you make it a bit? Can you shonk it up? Can you make it shonky?
We'll bring the word back.
Shonky meaning a little bit shit.
Off.
A bit off.
Right. Slightly off, yeah.
Slightly off. Right.
And where was it placed? Was it as people were landing in?
It was in the airport in Dublin. Yeah.
Yeah.
What I love about this whole era is particular the Nike Simon's Palmer. They're like
they're like posters.
They're
aren't
like
they?
posters.
Oh yeah, they are.
That's handy.
They're like things
just like posters
you'd put on your wall. As every one of them. The behind every great goalkeeper, there's a ball.
People used to nick them, didn't they?
Yeah. And then even stuff like Mark and I think the Wrangler stuff. more than a number.
There can only be one.
Yeah, it's beautiful. They were
so colourful. Anyway, we've talked them up before. We've done lots of that. So talking of colourful, British Heart Foundation is the next one we wanted to talk about. It's another really wonderfully art-directed campaign. Some great lines. Really,
we have to put a hand up earlier and said it was started by Tony and Guy.
Okay,
as a campaign.
The hairdressers,
Simon Palmer.
Yeah,
the hairdressers. They sort of.
I thought, please just that because I wasn't sure. You go through your books and you go, oh yeah, but there's all those campaign poster booklets, and then there's the D&AD, and you have to just kind of. It's quite hard to work. So
fair play to them. They started it up with a bit of help from Saul Bass.
Yeah, so the look and feel is very. How would you describe it? Or Saul Bass, I suppose.
Yeah,
just
Saul Bass. And then I think they went off to CDP for a little lie down for a while, and then came back to Simon Palmer. And then in the meantime, we started getting the British Heart Foundation posters, and they were so popular that people used to look out for them, and there's always a good bit of coverage every time a new one came out. Yeah. But again, this one is we'd run out of money, so that was hand drawn by me with a bit of help from John Tisdall. And we used to have to cut it out of ruby lith, which is like this, just like gel stuff. You have to cut it out with a scalpel.
Ruby lith.
Yes, it's what cartographers make maps from back in the day.
Right.
They carve them all out of ruby lith, and then that would be used as the photographic plates for making maps. So we'd cut it all out of ruby lith, and then John would scan it all and put them together.
I mean, I love that because they just feel like they've got so much craft and sort of depth to them. Let alone the headline, which says Britain's #1 lady killer isn't a man, and then it's about heart disease. It's beautiful. I mean, they sort of passed this, the Paul Arden test, isn't it?
Did all these come out at the same time, or was
I think they were like 6 months apart.
Right,
or what? I mean, we got a lot of stick for not that one,
the baby one.
Yeah,
the baby one.
For his birthday, Daddy gave him a time bomb. So it's a child in the womb with a bomb inside it.
On the heart.
So there's some fun, some great facts to work with in terms of quite simple facts. So that it's hereditary. Okay, so it can be passed down. Not many people would necessarily believe or know that. So that was a great one.
I mean, it's a public health warning as well as an artwork, isn't it?
Yeah.
So,
but also it's kind of like people complain because it was shocking. It's like, well,
that's the point.
You got to notice these things. You got to if you've got to hit somebody over the head with it, then that's posters are the best way to do that.
Look, Tim called it a visual shout. This is
Mr. Riley.
This is exactly what you're talking about here. You shout in people's face that this is a killer, and you need to be aware of this.
You don't want to whisper things, do you? And posters are a good old shout.
Yeah, they're great. These, I'm not sure what they're doing at the moment. They go through. When I was at Mullen, they had it for a bit, and they go through phases. British Heart Foundation, seemingly of doing. They're quite reactionary. Sometimes it's like very empathetic and soft, and other times it's a bit more punchy.
We had the same brief actually.
Really?
At Mullen Loeb.
When you were there, when I was there,
just for a while, just before you were there, and it was so drenched in facts and charts that you couldn't winkle a poster out of it. It was just too much going on.
That's really interesting.
So, a good fact, well done, is what a poster's all about. Not all the facts on the same poster.
As we saw from the text to you.
One poster with everything on it.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to move on. What we've got now, the Times. So this was during a time at Rainey Kelly? Is that right?
So we've now moved to Rainey Kelly, that's right.
So wait a minute. So the British Heart Foundation, that was Simon's Palmer.
Simon's Palmer.
So what, did you leave because you wanted a pay rise, you wanted different opportunities? Was there a reason to give a fight with Mark?
A combination of, obviously, at those days you'd always move for more money. Yeah. That was obviously one of the drivers, and they'd kind of approached us and were interested because they wanted, some of that poster power.
But there's also a whiff of merger of Simon's Palmer.
Yeah, we were also feeling that because this we left just before they merged with TBWA, and we felt it was time to move on. We'd been there 3 years. It was time for something fresh, and it felt like it was. We'd had a couple of things where they'd started to become a bit safe with the work, and they wouldn't push would, which was never the case. They would always push for the work, and it felt that there was a bit of a shift because of this upcoming merger. So we thought, and then this offer came from the guys at Rennie Kelly, and we said, yeah, great.
So did you get to work with Mark Rolfe?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Mark,
yeah, I mean, it was very small when we joined. There were only like 3 teams there.
Yeah, which was
that's
joy.
nice.
Yeah,
it only just started out like the previous year. So
they were still up in where was it?
Margaret Street.
Margaret Street, yeah, right next to Needle.
Right, so you sort of went from Simons Palmer relatively.
We went from south of Oxford Street to north of Oxford Street.
Yeah, all right. Just a little hop.
Soho, NoHo, yeah.
And this campaign, how soon did you get hold of this? Because I remember seeing this, and I always thought it was a bit under awarded.
Well, there's a story behind that.
Oh, right. Tell us more, Phil.
So they loved it, and Robert and Mark loved it, but they decided, because at the same time there was a TV commercial came out that Graham Fink had done for PPP, I think it was, wasn't it? It was one of the. It was like a Bupa, like a medical thing, and it had used an X-ray technique. So they decided. Robert, I think, unilaterally decided, we won't bother entering it at Cannes because it won't win. And then he was actually down at Cannes.
Oh, no.
He'd been judging it, and when he got down there, they went, "Where's all your under the skin of sports stuff? We expect that's going to win everything."
Well, it's funny because we got wind of this thing. I think, again, Malcolm Benville shot the TV stuff for us. And I rang Finky up and said, "Look, it sounds like, we've both had a similar sort of thing going on." I had a chat with him, and he said, "It's all right, matey, it sounds completely different. Well, I'm doing this, you're doing something else.
Different. Yeah,
Fill your boots. It's all right, it's all good."
Happened to be X-ray.
We just thought, it's good to have the chat.
He did win at posters. I mean, the campaign posters, right. we picked up 5 silvers that night.
Can we go back in time and enter it for you? I feel terrible. It's the worst thing.
But it was good fun. Again, it's one of these things. I had to draw those buggers up, and I drew them in negative X-ray like that.
Really?
It took forever to do a layout.
Go on, how are you going to draw an X-ray? Will you get black paper and then a white?
I wish I thought of that at the time, actually. I got a black paper and a Chinograph would have saved a lot of... No, it was magic markers and a layout pad.
Wow.
Hold on. You managed magic marker black grease. And then...
Yeah.
Mind you, I bet, I know some art directors are like this, quite meditative, just, filling a page with a bit of colour.
Yeah, and you just get off your tits on the fumes from magic markers. So, yeah.
And so this was shot as well, though?
Yeah, so we shot a lot of it for real. That sounds odd. Again, Tim said, "Let's just go down to Russia. You can photograph anything there. We'll just get some people in front of an X-ray." Like, mate, you can't do that. You'll kill them. And so what we worked out was we found what they call a phantom.
Yeah.
Which is what people radiographers train with. And I think they pull bodies out of the Ganges and then set them into latex. And then you X-ray those. So we used some of those. Then we actually went down to Harley Street to photograph the tricky things like hands and feet. I had so many X-rays done. I got to a point where I wasn't allowed to be X-rayed for about 2 years. So we slipped Harley.
You're only supposed to have a couple of X-rays.
We slipped Harley Street doctors a few quid, and they just let us have the plates. And then again, same retoucher did the fast forward, did that, and then we started shooting skeletons with ring flash. And once you flip them into negative, that gives you the same sort of feel. And you just build stuff around it. But,
oh, great. I mean, sorry, my phone up here. They are all your works are so sort of simple, but it's like beautifully put together.
A bit like us, really.
Yeah.
Uncomplicated characters.
But that is sort of like, but it's a real quality to it as well. I mean, I remember seeing one of these, and I hadn't seen them all. And there's the one I want to talk about again. Was this this one with the rugby, and it's like the guys.
The brick shit house.
The brick shit. I thought I was going to say it. I thought I'll let Phil say it. But how did you do that then? So the images of a rugby player.
Again, the 2 hands are done in Harley Street, and the rugby ball. So I'd hold a rugby ball, hide underneath the table, get my hand on rugby ball on top of the X-ray, so the machine would be above us, and I'd be shielded by the table.
I can't believe
take the X-ray of that, and then my hands are dust now. Heads, you draw the line of getting your head X-rayed. So I think that was I don't know how I think that might be in the Phantom, and then the rest of it was a brick model that was then.
Yeah, it was a model.
That was we just flipped it, turned it negative, and built it into the shop.
It's fucking great. It's so good. I mean, and was this? Sorry to be thick. Was it the time of backlit ad Shelley stuff? Could they have been, or was they all just?
I think some of them were.
Yeah, they were backlit. Yeah.
We did, and the press ones that I liked, which we don't talk about that here, but we managed to make them look like, when they put X-rays on light boxes and the doctors, and they jam them up.
Yeah.
So we tried to make them look like the X-ray was jammed up into the gutter of the magazine. So it was always on a bit of an angle.
Nice.
With white around it. But yeah, there was a few backlit ones kicking around, a few special builds.
It's great. It's really lovely, isn't it?
Cheers.
Right, so I'm sitting down again.
You need to move your microphone again here.
Yeah, sorry. Where?
Back in the room.
What's next? Virgin. Yeah, God. I was just thinking, why aren't there these brilliant posters anymore from Virgin? Because it was I remember, well, we've had people, Martha Riley.
Martha and Mark on.
Yeah, and we've just talked about, there's sort of like, I was thinking, Dan and I were always saying, the Economist always comes up so much. But these are quite close, not just because they're red. But imagine if you went there, or if you went to Abbott's, you're going, fuck, I've got to get my hand on that.
Got to get one of those.
It is, but it's a poison chalice. It's great to have a chance and great to get one out, but bloody hell, the pressure's there. You can feel the weight of what's gone before.
But you seem to have had that everywhere you've been. You've gone from
moochers, gold hangers,
Man City to Real Madrid, and Real Madrid to Barcelona.
Made it like Shearer all the way through. Alan Shearer, not Paul. I say, hang around the goal mouth and.
That's a really good
I think
point,
I think that's testament to your partnership as well. You go, right, we're going somewhere where they've been producing great work, and the challenge is produce more great work, and we're seeing it right here. So I think it's brilliant.
Is it, or was it? I'm sure we've asked this question before about it, but was it an open brief, or was it like you're given the brief and other people
given it?
No, you on these ones. Yeah, you were given because there'd be a new route announced, so we're now flying to Chicago, and we got that brief. And
so the Chicago one is absolutely my favourite. It's just baked beans with the Windy City. You fill it in obviously a bit, but when you get it, certainly as a British person, it's just brilliant because you could like if it's
you couldn't run it in America.
No,
you could only run it here.
What would they?
Well, that's it, and that's part of the brief. It's UK poster, off you go.
Yeah,
and there's not enough of that. Now I think it would be like,
well, everything's international.
International's global, and
later we can't do this.
It's why some of this stuff's hard to win at Cannes, because you have jury members. Sometimes you'll have someone from the UK, sometimes you won't, right? And then they sit there and talk about it, and people just don't get it. So
it doesn't translate. Yeah.
Although America might have got it after what was it? The Mel Brooks film.
Oh yeah.
Blazing Saddles.
Blazing Saddles. Yeah.
No, it's great. I mean, you've got two. We've got obviously the one we've just described, and we've also got San Francisco, and there's a heart that says lost property. Playing off that, I lost my heart in San Francisco. Did you do more that never made it, or were these the only?
We had a couple more. We had Flock to Delhi, which was not actually a poster. It was a print ad in Wallpaper magazine, but it was literally it was actually Flock. So it was a bit
lovely.
Real Flock.
It was a fold. It was a fold out, sort of three-fold. Just with Flock to Delhi,
brilliant.
Which was a nice one. But no, I mean they were hard to get the briefs, and obviously, as you say, Martha and Richard had done some very nice ones.
Martha had done a lot of good.
The
shiatsu.
The shiatsu.
That's
one of our. This was still one of our favourite posters, and that's pretty hard to beat. And sit, shower, shave. This was a cracker as well.
Well done on saying that first.
Yeah, that was. Well, it's
make sure your teeth are in.
It's still the morning, so you're all right. Yeah.
Right, going to have a bit of chocolate now. Toblerone. I actually didn't know you had done this until recently, and I remember not seeing it or not, and again enough of it because I was going through my campaign booklet things, thinking, all right, it was one of the first ones I saw, and I hadn't really seen it. It was basically someone's face, and it's the the Toblerone triangle is sticking out very prominently. It's just so simple. I was thinking, why wasn't there more of it? And what, you could do it now.
Yeah.
What was there? Was this at? Where were you when you did this?
Well, it was Rainey Kelly, but by that time they'd become Rainey Kelly Y&R.
Okay.
So the Toblerone business was part of the Y&R business from I can't remember what the parent company is, but it's a big.
It's hopped around a bit since then, I think.
Tell us a bit about how you got, or was it like a real, I'll just do that? Was it that simple?
I think it was a doodle that I'd done. It was that thing from Tom and Jerry that every time, Jerry ate something, he took on that shape. And,
it started as a mouse, didn't it?
So it was a mouse, and Robert Campbell happened to wander through the office and went, "Oh, that's good. Let's have that." So, in an inspired moment of creative directing, he pointed at the doodle and went, "Let's have some more of those." And there you go. That's how the whole campaign came about.
Yeah, and that was global. That literally ran everywhere around the world. And so I literally saw one when I was in Thailand. I went to Thailand for a holiday, and there was one of our posters, which was great.
You don't even need the what.
We can't hear you.
I can't remember why we put that in, to be honest. But
it's a bit of a friend's like,
No, but it was that's the
challenge, I suppose, wasn't it?
I do my kids all the time. They kind of sneak a sweet out of the cupboard or something. What's in your mouth? What?
Yeah.
It's great.
Just being caught.
It was just that kind of moment of being caught out.
Yeah.
And given it an
nothing
airport,
to see here.
You could translate it into all sorts of stuff. So,
yeah, single word.
I mean, if they were still doing it now, because we were talking the other day about confidence of brands like British Airways, the Windows stuff, or McDonald's, where you just see top of the golden arches. You could run that without a logo if it had become famous enough. You go, oh yeah,
if they'd stuck with it. They never stuck with anything for longer than a year. There was right now something else. But yeah, I mean, it's in the same mold as kind of Got Milk, isn't it? It's that flavour.
Right.
Moving on to Abbott Mead Vickers.
Phil's actually just running the podcast now. I was like, so much easier.
Shall we go?
Yeah.
Give us a knock on the window when you're done.
We should tell
I do apologise. I have a tendency to take over.
No, that's good.
Thank fuck.
Does that. It's him. He's got stuff written down and he has to say it.
Yeah.
If he doesn't,
it throws him off, is it?
Harry rednapping around, he'll start twitching and.
Graham's long suffering with me. When we present work, it's always me. He doesn't get a word in edgeways. It's like
sounds like my marriage. This.
Oh,
right. Anyway, yes. So moving on, as Phil says, to Abbott Mead Vickers and Yellow Pages, and these are brilliant. I remember thinking when I saw them. So you put me right on this because I said, "Oh, these are only press ads, but should we talk about them at the thing?" On the podcast.
So
and then,
you were 48 sheet shaped.
So therefore, that's the or so you can be really honest. Or were they? Because then the story was no, they're not press ads. They look like that because the Yellow Pages is
because it was still at that time magazine. It was a physical book. Yeah.
Anyway,
it was a big hefty.
We're
book.
not even going to. But they're that classic combination of we've got one that says diving clubs and then French restaurants. So there's a scuba diver and some frog's legs. Just that brilliant, mashup of visuals. Open up London Yellow Pages. Was this? I mean, like all your work, it looks so simple and easy. I imagine it wasn't, or was it? You didn't have to have any X-rays, at least, Graham.
No, there was that. Yeah,
you didn't risk your life.
No, but it was a tricky thing to put together. Seamus Ryan shot these for us, and so we shot all the elements. Like the diver, the frog's legs, and we actually built the Yellow Pages thing as a model, so we could get the right texture on the paper, get the right colour. I think we printed the type on at some point. We toyed around with that, but it was quite a number putting them all together. But that was part of the joy of it, lighting the shape to get that gutter of the Yellow Pages in there. So yeah, it's good fun. It's like putting a puzzle together.
Yeah, but the idea itself, it just came from the fact that, I mean, as I say, it was still at that time a physical book that Till the kids of today, that they wouldn't believe it.
What's a book?
It was literally dumped on your doorstep. Everyone got one, a big, thick, yellow pages, and the idea came from the fact that there's just so much in there, such a cross section of disparate things that you can't find. You can find, tanning salons alongside grocers, bed shops, and it was everything. Everything in the world is there. So it was just like, how can we make that? Did you? Yeah, because
I imagine you could. I mean, it's just endless what you could do, and then I suppose what's just most visually rewarding.
Yeah,
yeah, because there's a guy with a javelin.
Or a pole vaulter even.
It's a pole vault.
Oh, yeah.
The spring, yeah.
And then a spring, and then there's a guy with, there's a carrot top. I'm trying to read these, organic foods. And then what's he at the bottom? Is he a tanning?
Tanning salons, yeah.
Yeah, they're just great. You just want to see more of them, just like loads.
Yeah, so Trump levels of orange skin there.
Yellow Pages were another great, brand, weren't they, at the time? They used to invest a lot. J.R. Hartley, that was the one, wasn't it?
J.R. Hartley, that's right.
The name J.R.
And then it moved
fly
to,
fishing.
Jimmy Nesbitt.
James Nesbitt campaign, which we did one of, but Andy Mackay, I think, started that.
Oh, what, you don't want to see
Andy and
He did the haircut one with, which was nice.
You're very good people. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was good writing.
Yeah.
Was that Mark? That wasn't Mark. Sorry, no, getting that wrong.
And the Yellow Pages only lived on until then the BBC Apprentice series, where they weren't allowed to use the internet and they had to use the Yellow Pages to find these local businesses.
Yes.
Now the printed book's gone completely.
It's all Yale.com.
Yale.com, yeah.
So then didn't Ed Morris do something on that where it's something to do with a record, and it was they tried to sort of traverse it from a book to online.
Yes.
Yeah, and it was like nearly worked.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Tricky brief, that one, though, yeah.
Was that one of the first things you did when you'd moved to AMV then?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. Early on, yeah.
It was the first year we were there. We were only at Abermead for a couple of 2.5 years.
So Economist then?
Economist. Any?
We only ever got one Economist poster out, and given that they're all, the quality and the calibre of
have we missed
so many of them. No, we got one out which was contains kernels.
They contain kernels.
Oh, can we put that in? Shit, sorry.
It's kind of all right, isn't it? But it's not. It's not. I mean, I've picked a few out because that's obviously. I mean, I'm sure everyone else sort of says economist. It's next level, and that for me, may contain kernels contains kernels is not up there with the rest. So it's not. It's someone else's campaign.
Yeah.
I mean, it's many people's campaign.
But it's not like you were short of good work. You did it loads and loads of other things. I have to say at this point, right, when I was buying Phil's the house. Sorry, just going off piece, right?
To the house.
So come around the house, love the house. Rachel and I've been looking at all these fucking houses, couldn't find anywhere, and I immediately went, "Oh, this is it. This is the one." So Phil and I got chatting, and he said, "What do you do?" And I said, "I work in advertising." And he didn't say anything, the fucking bastard. So he said, "Oh, advertising, really?" And it teed me up, and I went, "Yeah, mate." And I just went on this sort of slightly wanky, boasty thing. Do you know about advertising? What it is? Blah, 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 blah. I said, and he waited for me to sort of run out of runway, and he went, yeah, I work at Abermead Vickers. I'm just destroyed. I walked out and went,
it's all about the timing.
No, but it was because, don't you remember, it was that whole thing of everyone was known as the pairs. It's like you were with them at the time, and it was like, and you were like, oh, so you're Hugh and Adam.
Yes.
And you're like, so you're Phil and Graham.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, exactly.
So anyway, so we're in it's our house now, but we always talk about it.
It's still there, right?
Because the Cockrells are still in the kitchen. Those tiles.
Cockrell tiles, yeah.
They're still there. We're quite lazy, me and Rachel.
France,
we get in a place and we just go, fuck it. We might paint that damp patch, but that's it.
I don't know what that wooden kitchen surface must look like now.
It's all right. I quite like the way it weathers. Yeah. It's just like life, isn't it? You get a bit older and it's, sort of
back goes.
Nice.
Yeah, there's dodgy bits. Quite a nice area by the fridge, Anyway, sorry, we're going to our personal lives now. Sorry. Right, we're going to end with cheerily for the fucking coronavirus.
Yes.
So I remember Tony Hardcastle sent me these a while back, obviously when it was the pandemic, and we featured them on our feed. So it's a really clever visual, what do we call it? Visual conundrum, a visual trick. Can you explain this? Because when I've tried to explain it to people, it's quite hard.
Well, they were kind of tricky to put together. We tried all sorts of things. I actually remember drafting John Tisdale in to have a little look at it because he moved to Toronto as well.
Right.
And so he had a little look and a little explore for us, but that just went down a different route. But what it is it's the big red words, the coronavirus, and where the domestos bottle overlaps or touches coronavirus, you can read the word kill. So that, domestos kill coronavirus.
How did you get to that? Can I say, how did you get to this? Or were you aware of a graphic technique that you'd seen?
No, this is chatting with Tony. He's had a bit of a thought, and I'm sure we can make that work. And there's a lot of cheating actually in there. Sort of, there's a little dink in the O, so you get the K to work properly.
Yeah, that was very
R is longer than
so
it's type design, isn't it?
There's a lot of type design going into that, and the intention was to get. There's a
kill germs, that one. Yeah.
I think
there's also the last one. I think is it. Let's have a look. If you keep going, yeah. There's a guy called Stewie Stencils who used to see his stuff kicking around Stoke Newington, who was a bit he used to just like spray stencil animals and stuff, or famous people around the place, and he lives in Bristol now. So we got him to do one, and the intention was going to be, let's get them all stenciled up. Yeah. And out there, because that's kind of what makes them live and gives them a lot more life.
Texture, yeah.
Yeah, and it didn't happen in the end, but that was one of the ones he tried out for us.
It's great.
I think we even got Bonaguidi to try a silkscreen version, but I think that was too straight, really. It kind of just looked like it had been set.
Yeah.
Was onto brickwork
on the walls. It looks amazing.
Yeah, that's kind of what the intention was going to be.
That was the intention.
It's really, fucking hell, for domestos, it's so good. It's like, again, I sort
was that a proactive approach?
Very much so. And Tony, we go back from Abbott Mead days with Tony, and he was creative director on that piece of business, and was always trying to push something good away. I mean, they did a high standard generally across that. He's always wanted, but he was always looking for. There was always a brief to do something, pushing it a bit, and do something that's a bit more special, and trying to win awards, because that usual client wants to win awards, but not necessarily wants to buy the best work. But this was very much proactive. Yeah, we sat around with him, chatted about it, and put it all together.
I mean, at the top of the show, we were talking about pharma and how, you're getting into it. This is a really good example of quite a complicated thing in theory, and you've just distilled it down to, there's only 2 elements on that. It's so hard because, you're trying to just wade through like all the, the small print. And
well, that's the thing, Phil was saying when we get our 101s on whatever drug we're trying to do, it's like an hour and a half of stuff that after 10 minutes I'm just like, my brain's bleeding out my ears now. I can't take anymore.
Everything's
what does it do if it does this? That's all you need to know.
Yeah, it's funny. They probably want to.
You've got to distill it down.
But it's almost like that stuff, certainly in the US, the kind of rank and file is quite formulaic, isn't it? Lots of it looks the same. So you
very much so.
Actually investing that time to differentiate and get the story right.
Which is kind of why I think we got drafted into that. Let's try and do something different.
Yeah, try and make it, keep it simpler and but they resist at every turn. They want to put what they call an eyebrow. So you'll have a headline, but it'll have an eyebrow, which is that little line above it that introduces the headline, and then a subline underneath it, because they want to have everything in there.
I like that eyebrow.
I know. When I heard that, I was like, "What? What's an eyebrow?"
That already makes it feel like it's part of the brief. Yeah, it's at
in the eyebrow. Yeah.
Age Abbott Sarchi used to call those things dabs of shit. He'd say, he said, "How many dabs of shit have you got on this?" And I never got it. And after I goes, "Yeah, okay, it is an extra line under the headline. The client wants a logo bigger." There's 3 things, and he said, "Once you get 3, you've had it."
Yeah,
it's quite interesting.
Then the asterisk appears.
Yeah. It's like doing the radio ad or the TV ad, and they go, "Oh, but there's an audio mnemonic that they've done in Europe that you have to stick on everything." Okay. Right. Anyway,
but there is. I'm going to say that said, there is some great stuff done. I mean, because what you're doing is, as you said, useful, is helpful. It's curing diseases. It's helping make people's lives better. We've done some nice work for, self-injecting, EpiPen things, and the breakthroughs that are happening are happening all the time now, and it's, particularly cancer drugs and stuff that really are, targeting particular proteins that therefore give people longer life. It is fascinating, and it is really interesting, and
drifting off
they are. And there's a lot of stuff that does win at Canada that is coming from the farmer side.
It's huge. I mean, I remember when we were growing up, me and Adam, it was always around, but it was always a bit like, oh yeah, well we never get that, we'll never do it. But now it must be half the industry, I imagine, but you don't hear about it so much, do you? Because anyway, we are going to go on to finish the show on your favourite billboards. Now, there's quite a few on here.
Yeah, I didn't know how many you wanted us to add in.
One. It's your favourite billboard.
One. I thought it was sure it was.
All right, you can have one each.
Now, you can have as many as you want, gents. So we've got Waterstones, Economist, and a bit of Nike, I think. I want a bit of Virgin. Where do you want to start? I mean, you've sort of touched upon a few of these. Let's talk about Waterstones.
Waterstones, that's Nigel and Paul,
That's just pure. To me, these are pure. They're just one of my favourite things of all time. When they came out, we didn't know them. So we were still at Rainey Kelly. They were, can't remember where they were, TBWA when they did these. And they came out and I saw them and went, oh my, that kind of, I really wish I'd done that. I really, really wish I'd done it.
After
so
you got
beautiful.
through the bastard.
You can take a book anywhere. You can take a book anywhere and vice versa. I mean, the line is just poetry, and the way that Paul has brought them to life is amazing. The most common form of escape from prison isn't a shovel, or was it? The most common tool, isn't it, for escape isn't a shovel?
Yeah, the most common tool for escape.
No, it's just, it's just so, just poetry for me, and beautifully executed. Yeah. So when they came out, Campaign, they used to have that private view in Campaign, and I'm pretty sure it was Patrick Collister who'd sort of said, yeah, they're not. He gave them a really bad review. It's like, it could be for any bookstore, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, what? And I literally rang them up. I'll tell you, I didn't know them, but I found out their number at TBWA. I rang them and said, I think that's bullshit. These are the best things I've seen. And they were like, thanks very much.
That's good, mate.
Yeah. And then they gave us a job at AMV a couple of years later. So happy days.
What goes round?
Those are things are free lunch.
Pay it forward.
Yeah. No, but you're right. Those two just. We had Paul on what episode was it? Second, third, which seems like a long time ago now.
Yeah,
about 5 years, I think. But Paul, we have to get him back because he's just mentioned so regularly.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, it's just amazing design.
We got two lots of economists. Actually, let's do this one because this is Tony Harcost. This is Brains in the corner.
Yeah.
I mean, this has been mentioned fair few times. I mean,
rightly so. It's brilliant. It's just a picture of Brains, and he's right in the corner. He's tucked away where the logo normally goes. Yeah. Big red poster, beautiful little shot of Brains. That's all there is.
Yeah. I mean, talk about confidence.
Oh yeah,
and this was years ago, right? And then above that, we've got the jigsaw.
I mean, I think that's the beauty of the campaign is that it's some that are really simple, like the Brains or the missing jigsaw. I mean, no one else could do the missing piece jigsaw. No. I mean, I know jigsaws are a bit overused, but on a red poster, the corner bit is missing with where the logo would be, and instantly what it's for. I mean, it's just that.
Couldn't have done it without what's gone before as well, which is nice, right? So you built a campaign, and you do that can come, and you are confident enough at that point to do it.
But then you can also have really playful lines. In a meeting of minds, would you be sent out for the biscuits? It's just makes you smile. Brings a real smile as soon as you see that.
I like how he always brings them in the start of the meeting.
So, do you want me to get a flapjack?
Just build into that.
Fucking hell. Yeah, and Jordan, of course. Tim Riley's brilliant line.
Genius.
We've talked about Cantona a bit. 66 was a great year for English football. Eric was born, but again, give it some reverence. It is still one of the greatest posters.
Well, again, interesting story on that one, because we were still at Lowe's when that was done, and Andy was now the creative director at Simons Palmer. And we were mates, and he rang up and said, I've got these two posters, and there's this line, and then there's another line. And I can't even remember what the other line was because it was like, I was like, are you joking me? It's like,
I think it's because the other line was the other teams and this was theirs. And he was just
doing due diligence.
He was just kind of, he's very self-effacing, Andy.
On those moments.
It was like, you think it's better? I was like, it's just not even on the same planet. It's brilliant.
And BA Don't Give a Shiatsu, Martha Riley.
I think this is brilliant. This is
it's a belter.
Yeah.
But of course, Virgin don't give a shiatsu now either. But
no. Costs.
And then the Rizzler. Jamaica twice a week, and in the corner there's a bit of the poster has been ripped as if it was actually for a roach, I think they used to call it.
How would you know that?
I don't know.
Oh, not me.
I read about it somewhere. A friend told me.
My brother once knew a man. But yeah. Isn't that Rob... What's the creative team who did that? Can you remember?
Oh, well, we weren't even there at that point. So
I think we feature this. We'll have to come back to it.
I think it was, yes, Rob.
Rob Messiter.
Yeah, it is Rob.
And we have to cut this bit out of the podcast because it's just going to be like 4 blokes going.
And the other
Rob, my memory's so shit.
Yeah.
Rob and his mate. Yeah.
Anyway, moving on. Tips. This is my favourite slide of the entire presentation. Keep it simple and out.
That's it. Just say no more.
Yeah.
That's the craft, though, isn't it? Is you just talking about pharma and how much information overload you're given as part of the briefing.
Yeah.
How do you condense? How do you simplify? And that's the skill.
Simplify.
I mean, sometimes it's an external thing, trying to keep clients from overcrowding stuff. Sometimes it's internal. Sometimes it's stopping creative directors from putting stuff in that doesn't need to be there, and fighting your corner, really. So, no names mentioned, but there's been occasions where overcomplicated suggestions have been made, and
It's quite interesting because the book ending of, we joked around about that poster on the, where was that road? The A404 or something?
A406.
406.
And if you look at that, and then the last slide, which is keep it simple, I mean, it's just like, Dan and I say it's virtually every episode when we talk about what's out there, and it's just so sad that someone's spent good money on a poster and, employed some creative people in good faith, and then you just fill it with shit. And it's never going to happen. Whereas the confident people and the people who know it works, they're just winning all the time, saying one thing and say it well.
I mean, Peter Suter used to do a talk about the Economist posters where he would take the original, I don't read The Economist, account management trainee, age 42.
Yeah.
And then he would literally add stuff to it.
Right.
So just do the wrong thing and you haven't got the price on there. You haven't got the,
Where's the URL? Where's the hashtag?
Picture of the magazine.
Yeah.
Picture. You haven't seen the masthead. That's not actually, so it would.
And we're running a money off.
Show you how.
Yeah. By the way, it's three.
There's another one I was given when I was at Watford College, which is the same, and it says only Parker pens can make a pen this dull, and it was because it was.
Yeah,
the way
the matte.
And then they did the same thing. Go, well, can you show the other pen in the range? I think 2. Then do the price, and it's brilliant. And then by the end, there's a really famous team who said, and it's fucking like your brain can't take it in. Yeah. There's the range, there's money off, there's a coupon, but those ads run.
But they're all justifiable reasons. That's the thing. That's how you sort of hold it. Well, it's a fair question to ask. Why couldn't we have the price?
Yeah,
on?
There's another one that goes, there's this much lead and this much pencil, I remember.
Yeah.
And then they show, can you show the pen? Because we have a pen as well as a pencil.
It comes in a set with a pen. Yeah.
Anyway, look, thank you.
Yeah.
God, it's real education today.
Great to have you on. And you haven't touched your flapjack, so we're going to make you have a flapjack.
Yeah.
You don't have to force me to eat a flapjack. That's they're very nice. Right, yeah. I'll be tucking it.
Sorry we're so late. Yeah.
I might have a glass of water if I'm going to.
And Graham, have you drawn it?
I've taken a picture and I've sent it to you.
Buggered it up, but yeah.
No, I took a picture of it before we buggered it up. He added loads of stuff to it, just so you know.
Range, price.
I took a photo of it when he kept it simple.
I can't even read my writing. So.
Thank you once again, Phil and Graham.
Yeah, thank you.
It's a pleasure.
Thanks so much.
Right. Well, that was pretty.
Thanks for those flapjacks, Hugh. We got them right at the end there, but
yeah. Were we recording on air with the Flapjacks?
Yeah, well, we gave them to them at the end.
And they just walked off with them.
Walked off with their Flapjacks.
I have to go upstairs.
Flagging around in their mouths.
So that was amazing. So many stories. I mean, God, the craft that Graham started talking about, and Phil talking about, lines and meeting Cantona, fucking all of that. Just brilliant. I love that.
Bring back the word shonky. That's my
shonky.
Shonky. Our timekeeping this morning was shonky.
Oh, we're really pushing it. Apologies to Phil and Graham there.
She sent me a text saying he's going to be 5 minutes late, and I said, it's all right, I'm 10 minutes late. So
yeah, and then Phil called me at 2:15.
And they were half an hour early, yeah. Amazing.
Yeah,
great
proper pros. So, thank you, Phil and Graham. Great episode. Just hearing the stories, fantastic.
Yeah.
And long may it continue with the farmer and whatever else they're doing. And like I said, there is still a damp patch at the back bedroom, Phil, if you want to... There's about 200 or 300.
Pop round and give it another coat. We've got some great stuff to come, so keep listening, and thanks everyone for your support on our social and sharing our posts and all sorts of stuff. It's brilliant. We have to say a massive thank you to our sponsors, obviously Grand Visual, My Business, for all of your creative out-of-home production. Give us a shout. And then for Talon, out-of-home specialist, and here our good friends at Soho Radio. If you are in the market for recording audio and you need some audio support for any of your projects.
I'm nodding at everything you're saying. It's all
Adrian and his team here are phenomenal. So do talk to them.
Okay, see you next time.
See you next time.
Bye.